If I told you that I have a way to reduce your procrastination, would you be interested? Of course you would. But before we get into that, let's try and understand what is procrastination. In its simplest form, it's avoiding doing a task that needs to be done. I'm Zach and welcome to the New Zero. If you're new to this channel, make sure you click the like and the subscribe button and leave comments down below. Throughout most of my teenage years, I was an extreme procrastinator. Most of you watching right now will probably know what I mean. As long as there was a deadline, I would put it off. There is one instance of procrastination that really stuck with me for a long time, and it highlighted just how bad it got. And it was when I was at uni. It was my last assignment. So I did what any 21-year-old uni student would do, and that's to make use of all the time that they gave me. I started off by reading the assignment or the assessment criteria just to understand exactly what they were looking for and what good looked like. And then I began my background research. Of course, this also meant watching the entire How It's Made series on YouTube, because it's really important to know how peanut butter is manufactured. If you're wondering, I did actually start the assignment, but it wasn't without spending 37 hours straight in the university library. Yes, 37 hours, with the help of quite a few energy drinks and a close mate. Now, the problem isn't the uni assignment, it's something else. You see, the uni assignment is procrastination on a grand scale. It's your habits on display so that you can see them. If we dive deeper, you will begin to understand something really interesting. I want you to think back to the last meal that you had, the last time you took your socks off, the last time you left your clothes on the floor. The reason why you left these things behind isn't because they're not important, because this is where the chain of patterns or the behaviors take place, and this is how procrastination itself becomes a chronic habit. We're too busy looking at the big things, the uni assignment, the project that you need to have completed. Everything else that's quite large sometimes means that you forget that procrastination at such a small scale are the things that happen day in, day out. Before you think there's no hope, I do have a solution for you. And the best part is that it will take less than 2 minutes. And ironically, it's called the 2-minute rule. I first came across this in Atomic Habits, and it made a huge impact on the way that I approach deadlines and tasks. I also more recently revisited this rule in David Allen's book, Getting Things Done. And essentially, it's all about asking yourself a question. For example, let's just say you're having your morning coffee at your kitchen table and you need to get up. It's at that moment where your inner voice starts to talk. On one end, it's saying, just take it back to the sink and get rid of it. And on the other end, your voice is also saying, just leave it, maybe later I'll do it. And that's the crucial moment that starts a chain or a pattern of behavior that leads to further procrastination down the track. And it's also when the 2-minute rule comes into play. The next time that you're having your coffee, or maybe you're eating breakfast at home, and then you need to get up, before your inner voice even starts to talk, I want you to ask yourself, is this going to take less than 2 minutes? And if the answer is yes, then do it. The reason why is that if you don't, eventually that task will take more than 2 minutes. Either by having more things build up that need attention, or it's simply crossing your mind every single time you see it. David Allen mentioned something really interesting in his book. He said, a task left undone remains undone in 2 places. At the location of the task, but also somewhere else, in your head. Incomplete tasks in your head consume the energy of your attention. I do warn you, this doesn't mean that every single task that will take less than 2 minutes need to be done, because that will be counterproductive. It will mean that you'll spend more than 2 minutes overall. But rather, it's for the things that come up in the moment. Like realizing that maybe your bin needs to be changed, or that the papers need to be filed, or that quick email needs to be sent to that client. Implementing this 2-minute rule means that later on down the track, some of the bigger things that take more than 2 minutes will become a lot easier to tackle, because you're already in that mindset or that habit of attending to things straight away. If I had to ask you to take one thing away from this video, it's this. The next time you're about to decide whether you want to do something now or maybe leave it till later, just ask yourself, is this going to take less than 2 minutes? Whatever you do next is completely up to you. I'd love to see what you've procrastinated on in the past, and if you've got other ways that you've helped manage procrastination or get rid of it completely, make sure you share them in the comments down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.